All right. See, when we're broadcasting it, it amps it up, doesn't it? There's just like 500 people watching right now. All right, man. I'm fired up today because we've got the right people training the right things. The theme for today is how to get out of the gate fast as a new agent. And so I'm going to bring up Gina Hawks. Because sometimes when we get agents started, they get like, I got to know all the products. It's one thing I hear all the time. I'll be a credible salesperson if I know all the products. And I go, dude, we probably got, Alex Fitzgerald knows exactly how many products. I think he said something, there was like 67 products total among 15 companies. And it's like, if someone says, I go, well, okay, call me next year about this time after you become an expert at all the products. Yeah. I'm going, seriously, dude, all we need for you to do is just know where to get all the manuals, and look everything up when you need it. We're going to prepare you. But I'm excited because Gina's going to, Gina, who is the queen of all the videos on Unity University, lets her hair down now, and she's going to tell you, as a new person, what do you got to focus on? What do you got to concentrate on? Do you need to know everything? And then after Gina, I'm going to bring out Noah Leventovich, and she's going to give you the perspective of getting started as a new person to get your mind right and to just focus on these things. Andy's big on keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. The more you complicate it, the worse it's going to be for you to get out there and start making money. And if I remember correctly, y'all got in this thing to what? Make money, right? And so, is sooner better than later? Right? Sooner. Yes. Okay, so how you can make money sooner. So to kick us off, I'm going to bring Gina Hawks on again. Did she do a credible job at the plan today? I love watching you do it because you are like the Polaris star of how to do the plan. I watch you, Gina, and I'm thinking, golly, I'm strayed way off the mark when I show the plan. I need to kind of come, because you are the book on how to show the plan. So rock on. Bring up Gina Hawks.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay. How to get started fast, because like Alex said, people come in this business, they want to make some money, they want to go out and help people. They typically want to do it faster rather than slower, is what the words coming out of their mouth say. Right. But then sometimes the actions aren't always, lining up with the words, because then they'll say something like, well, I got to know all the products first. This is the product person telling you don't have to know all of the products.
That's right.
So the specialist saying you don't have to know them all.
You even say it in your videos.
I know.
You and Jane say, start with this one,
exactly.
Then branch out.
Exactly. Well, I tell it like this because it sounds like a ridiculous story, but then when you apply it to what people do in this business, it's exactly what they do. So how many of you in here have kids? Okay. So any of you have kids that are like close to kindergarten age? No. At some point, they were kindergarten age, right? Yeah. Or they're going to be kindergarten age. So just imagine that your child goes into kindergarten and goes and tells the teacher, if you can't teach me calculus, I'm not coming back tomorrow. It sounds absurd, right? It sounds crazy. No kindergartner or whatever do that. Well, my little niece told can't you just tell me the numbers that are really important so I can just learn them? Which I thought was, you can't argue with that logic. That's a pretty good question. But, going in and saying, okay, if you can't teach me calculus, then forget it. I'm not doing this math thing, But that's how people a lot of times will come into this business. I got to know everything before I can do the basic stuff. And it's totally backwards. You've got to learn the basics first.
Gotta master the mundane.
Exactly. Master the mundane, learn those basics before you can get to calculus. Because guess what? If you want to learn how to do calculus, you got to know your numbers. You got to know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide them. Guess what? Calculus has letters too. So you got to know some letters. There's a whole bunch of prep that goes into before you learn calculus, right? You don't start out learning calculus. Same thing here. Start with the basics. Now, common question I get, and this is one of the things that Will was asking earlier. He's like, I've got a topic for us to talk about. I've got a question. How do I get started learning the products? And the key is talk to your manager. You know, people will think, okay, I start in NA University, I go to the 100 level courses, and I just started the first one and you know, start completing courses. No, that's not the way to go through the university. Talk to your manager. We're going to tell you what courses to take. First, the course that you're going to take is not going to be a product course. It's going to be course number 124, the appointment setting course. That's the first thing that you need to know. So course number 124, which is going to go over appointment setting. Because guess what? That's the first thing you're going to need to know how to do. Until you can set an appointment and get in the home and talk to somebody, you don't need to know anything about products because you haven't made it to that point yet. You're not there yet. So we got to figure out how to call the leads, book an appointment on the phone. So that's going to be the first thing. The second thing is still not going to be products. It's going to be course number 123, which is your ATM, your in-home presentation. So how you go through the booklet and, you know, build rapport with the client and all that good stuff. So that's your starting points, first of all, not products. Whereas so many times people want to start with products, it's like you're not there yet. You know, it's not time to learn calculus. Let's learn our numbers, you know, then let's learn our alphabet. Then we'll get to calculus. So start with the basics. So these are the basics. And quite frankly, Alex can tell you, Noelle can tell you, if you can do these two steps and get in a home, build a relationship with the client, get them to like and trust you, you can call somebody and we'll get you through the rest of it. You don't even have to know a product. If you can do this, get in the home, call somebody. That is so important. The system that we have, the support system that we have, that culture of community where we all help each other, all the resources Andy Albright has put together to help you plug into that. You've got people, get people's telephone numbers. Talk to your upline manager. They'll give you their number. They'll give you other numbers on the team. Talk to people in your hotspot. Get other people's numbers. Get people's numbers. Have a list of numbers of people that you can call. In case you don't have my number, here it is. This is my cell phone number, and you can call me. You can add that to the list. People are like, you mean I can call you? Yes, you can call me. Absolutely. I will be glad to help you. Now, the key is have a bunch of people. You know, have a list because we're all busy. And if you call me, I might be on a plane for 3 hours and you're not going to get me while you're sitting there in the client's home. You know, you call Alex, he may be out doing at a different hotspot doing training. You know, we're all busy, so make sure you've got a bunch of people's numbers so that when you get in the home, you've got people to reach out to, that when you get stumped, no matter where that is in the process, you get stumped, you have a question, you call somebody. You know, Andy says all the time, pick up a check or pick up the phone. And a lot of times it's both of them because it's going to take picking up the phone to get to the point of picking up the check. So call somebody. Make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Now, most people want to know, again, everything about products before they go and see a client. And I understand that. But let's start with the basics. What you want to do is learn 2 products. 2, not 20, not 3, not 5, not 7, 2. A term product and a whole life final expense. And I would recommend probably CFG or Foresters as the company to start with. And you could learn both CFG, both Foresters, one CFG, one Forester. Doesn't matter. Again, talk with your upline manager and say, hey, which term, which final expense do you want me to learn? But stick with 2.
Right.
Because so many people want to go in and they learn those 2 and they're like, oh, well, let's learn some more, and you get what we call paralysis by analysis. It's too much information. Everything starts getting jumbled, you get confused, and then you're stuck. And you're afraid to do anything because you got all this information floating around in your head, and you're like, well, what do I do now? Well, I'm just not going to do anything because I'm confused. And that's what we don't want to happen, because again, you came here to make money, to help people. We need to get you out there making money and helping people, not being like, oh, I got too much information in my head. So stick with 2. Now, these are the basics. To this day, Noelle can tell you, Alex can tell you, to this day, these are still the products we sell the most of.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We started out just selling term. We only sold term. Then we added on final expense, and it was just term and final expense. And now we've got a whole myriad of products. These are still the basics. These are still 9 times out of 10 what you're going to be helping people with in the home to this day. So that's why we tell you to start there. These products, you're going to be able to help a ton of people in the home. And again, I'm not saying learn every term, every final expense, learn 1 of each. Now, the cool thing that you don't know when you start this process is you learn 1 term and you pretty much know all the rest of them. And you learn 1 final expense and you pretty much know all the rest of them, because they really are that similar. There's little, tiny bells and whistles that are different, but the basics are the same. So if you get in a home and say you've learned Forrester's term, you get in a home, you start asking the client some health questions, and you figure out they're not going to qualify for Forrester's term. That doesn't mean they're not going to qualify for one of our other companies' term products. So you call somebody and they're like, hey, yeah, you're right. Forrester's, that's not going to be a good fit, but CFG will be a good fit for that client. And then you're like, oh, but I don't know CFG. Yeah, you really do. So it makes it easy that if you only know one company's product, transitioning to another company is not a big deal.
That's right.
Because your basics are the same. Might have an extra rider or this or that. But the basics of what we're covering, what the client asks for, mortgage protection, final expense, are going to be covered with no matter what company you learn. So stick with the basics. And I can tell you, you can help anybody with these products. Most of the time, this is what we're selling anyway.
That's right.
And then once you feel good that you know 1 term and 1 final expense, then go look at another term, another final expense. This process could happen over a long period of time, or it could happen over a short period of time. It could take you a long time to learn all the different products, or it could take you a shorter time. It's just the time that you invest in it. If once you learn these 2, you say, okay, well, I'm going to stay up late or get up early, 1 day a week and learn a new product, so that every week I'm learning something new. You could do that, or if that's too much, every 2 weeks or whatever. It's totally up to you. But quite frankly, you will learn the most about the products by going out and talking to people and helping people out. The videos will give you the basics. You can watch a 30-minute video on each of these. So in about an hour, you've got what you need to know about products.
Absolutely.
And you've got people's numbers that you can call if they come up with a question that you don't know. You got the basics covered. You're good to go. Now, people will say, you guys probably hear this, well, I just don't feel like if I only know 2 products, I know the best thing for the client.
Yeah.
If we've got all these other products, Alex, how do I know that CFG term, is the best one for them? Well, again, these are the basics. This is what we're selling day in and day out, over and over and over and over. The products are very similar. The key is, before you went into that home, that family didn't have protection.
That's right.
They had no insurance or not enough insurance. Most of them no insurance, the people that we meet with. Whatever you give them when you leave, they're better off when you left than when you got there.
That's right.
That's so true.
Keep that in mind. And again, call somebody and we're going to tell you, yep, that's the best thing to do for the client. And again, I'll hear from agents, well, I don't want to call because then the clients are going to think I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And again, I understand that's typically why people won't call from the home is they think it's going to make them look bad or they're going to lose credibility. And the crazy thing is the exact opposite occurs.
That's right.
Because all you've got to do is tell the client, well, I just want to make sure that we're getting the best thing for you and your family. So I want to call my manager, just double check, make sure we're covering all the bases and we're getting the best program for you and your family. Is that cool? And nobody's going to care.
No.
They're not going to be like, oh, this one's good enough. It's just my family. That'll work. You don't need to call anybody. We'll just take that one. They don't care. They don't care that you call somebody. It actually builds credibility because people like the fact that they see you're trying to help them. And you're willing to go out on a limb and call somebody and say, I don't know it all. Because nobody likes to know it all anyway. I don't know it all, but let me call and just double check, make sure we're covering all the bases and we're finding out what's best for your family. That's all you got to say to them, and they don't care. I mean, I've had agents call me multiple times from the same home. The clients don't care. They're hiding here laughing in the background. They're having a big old time. It's just trying to help the people out. And following those steps, learning the basics, calling people from the home, you're going to be able to help people out. And the more you do that, the more you're going to learn. Because most people learn hands-on. I mean, all of it helps a little. The videos help, the reading, all that helps. But when you can actually apply it to a situation, then that's when it really starts sticking in your head.
Yeah.
And you can learn it faster by doing it faster. Instead of going and running 5 appointments a week, run 20 appointments in a week. And you'll learn it 4 times faster because otherwise it's going to take you several weeks to get those 20 appointments ran. Whereas if you cram it all into one week, run 20 appointments in a week, you're learning that much faster. So it gets back to, it's up to you. But the faster you can go out, the faster you can sit down with clients, learn a couple products and get out there and start seeing families, because that is really how you're going to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very basic. What we do in the home is real basic. We don't get into like explaining what all the riders do and all that. It's like we give them what they ask for. If they ask about, well, the lead said something about getting our money back. Yeah, that's return of premium. Here's how that works. You get your money back. Return of premium.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're not going to tell them about waiver premium and all this stuff that they haven't asked about.
That's right.
Whereas sometimes people want to complicate it. Say, well, guess what? We got this laundry list of options here for you, and this rider does this, and this rider does that. No, give them what they asked for. We're not going into all that detail. We're keeping it very basic, very simple. You'll see that on this video right here.
Yeah.
The ATM videos. You'll see. You won't see them going through explaining every rider that they could possibly get on the policy. They're giving them what the need that they see and the questions that people are asking about. Why'd you fill this in? Why'd you send this form in? Well, we like the part where you can get your money back if you don't die. Cool, yeah, that is pretty cool. I like that part too. And we just keep it basic. Keep it very, very, very basic. So you can learn the products very quickly. Simple stuff. Go out there and start helping families and you'll pick it up faster. But how many products?
2.
2.
Right. Not 4. Not 3. 2. 2 products. Anything else, Alex, on that you want me to
No, I think
cover?
anyone got any questions?
That's great.
Awesome.
And teach your people this. You guys are recruiting.
Yes.
This is not just for your information.
That's right.
That is
You're going to
true.
have agents asking you, well, how do I learn the products? Well, here's what we're going to start with. You do the appointment setting. We do some role playing. When I feel you're ready for that, then let's do some ATM. Then we'll get to products. So, and make sure people know that, because there was a guy in the training last night. he thought it was mandatory that he had to do every NAAU course before he could go sell something. And I'm like, wow, where did we mess up communicating that?
Oh, wow.
You know? Because he'd already gone through the whole 100 level courses. And he's like, I guess now I need to start on the 200 level. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm sorry. We should have done a better job telling you that this is all optional training. Once you got your license, you're ready to go. You don't have to do any training. You are licensed.
Right.
The state has authorized and deputized you. You're good to go. This is just all optional if you want to prep before you go out there. But people don't know. You know, Andy talks about one of the reasons why people don't do what they're supposed to do is because they don't know.
That's right.
They don't know what to do. So it's our responsibility to be clear with them of, hey, here's how your training's going to work. Here's what courses you're going to go through. We'll take you through this. So make sure your new people know. Don't go through and do all those courses. We'll tell you which courses to do. You know, you check with me when you're done with one. Check with me. We'll give you the next one. If they want a couple at a time, but make sure they know, because we take for granted that people know these kind of things, and they don't, because we're not clear with them. So
Yeah, I do have one question.
yes,
So I ran my first set of appointments today.
awesome.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's good.
So I'm sitting in the guy's house. I knew he had diabetes. I got that on the phone.
Okay.
And I sit down with him. I talked to Noelle Rivers on the way out.
Okay.
And I said, hey, you know, this is a situation. She's like, simplified issue. Look at that. Look at this. So as I'm sitting there, the guy pulls up his leg and he's like, I lost my leg about 7 years ago. So I'm like, well, that might change things. Well, when I get in the home, he said that he had just signed a contract with somebody for Transamerica for $5,000. He
Okay.
had no idea what it was. Had no idea about any of it. Didn't even have any paperwork on it.
Okay.
So I call her. I say, hey, this is the situation. I didn't know this. You know, what do you think? And she said, go with the guaranteed advantage. Try to do accidental.
Okay. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And so I talked to him about it. I only had Forrester stuff with me. So
Okay.
I said, hey, I'm going to go back to the office, research this a little bit. If I can help you, I'll call you, come back out. When I looked it up, I noticed that it said that you had to have a health license.
Yes.
Okay. Do you suggest getting a health license? Because I only got a life.
Yes.
You should get a health.
Yes. I would recommend when you're recruiting people, tell them from the get-go, get life and health.
Okay.
Because we do sell a ton of accidental death for people that can't qualify for some of the other things, and for people that it's just additional coverage, because it's a great way to get large amount of insurance for a very small price.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend go ahead and get it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the great thing is you went out and you ran
right.
appointments. So that means you set the appointments, you ran them, and you called somebody from the home.
Yeah.
So good
Great
job.
job.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because so many people,
Don't do that.
yeah,
That's
they
right.
don't. So you're doing all the right things. So just keep that up, and you'll learn it faster than you realize. That's the other thing. That initially this seems daunting because there's so much information. You will learn it a lot faster than you think initially, because you just go over the same stuff over and over and over and over. So good job, Will.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, get your health license. Good question. All right, other questions? Okay, Alex, I'll
All
turn it
right.
back over to you.
Thank you, Gina. You know, the other thing with new people is eventually new people get smart. Okay. Now here's the danger with getting too smart: is you were dumb going in, so you didn't have anything to say other than ask them questions. So you naturally ask a lot of questions because you didn't know what to say about the products. You know, the problem is when you start getting smart, then you start talking too much in the home.
Yeah.
So you might start off with a good closing rate, then all of a sudden, well, I'm the insurance agent now. I'm going to explain waiver of premium, return of premium. I'm going to explain how the premium works, and I'm going to explain the cost of insurance, and I'm going to explain when a company makes money on their policy, and then the client's eyes are glazed over, and they just want you to leave.
Yeah.
And so you got to remember being dumb. Even though you're smarter, don't be smart dumb. Be smart, be dumb smart. In other words, act dumb even though you're smart. Like ask questions still. Even though you can know universal life up and down and all the moving parts, the last thing you want to do is explain it to a client.
Yeah.
So when you start getting smart, remember to be dumb and ask a lot of questions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Here's the other thing. Isn't it interesting how a lot of top mega producers have difficulty producing producers that do what they're doing? Like literally, I've found statistically that good producers come from people who are okay producers. In other words, they only teach how they got started. In other words, mega producers, they want to infuse 15 years of sales, life insurance sales experience into their new people. And then they're disgusted when the person can't close a barn door because they told them everything of 15 years of experience, when they forgot what it was like when they got started selling insurance. So the natural tendency is for someone who knows what they're doing, oh, I just hired someone, I'm so excited. I'm going to make sure that they're really prepared because my upline didn't really prepare me. See, they have this amnesia that they got started as an amoeba and then they grew to become who they are today. And then they think, well, I'm going to do better than my upline, right? Then they try to overteach their people, and it's like they don't remember what it was like when they got started. So as you start getting smart and you're getting people started on the recruiting side, remember how you got started. Don't overwhelm them with stuff. Sometimes it's that overcompensation. Like, you weren't hugged as a child, so now you hug all your children every second they walk by. It's like, no, there's a reason, there's a method to our madness when it comes to that. All right. So I'm excited to bring Noelle Leventovich on. She got started with me a long time ago when I didn't know what the heck we were doing. Part of that whole thing was getting Patrick and Noelle and then eventually Mike Leventovich. And our initial team was, we didn't know nothing.
Right.
So it was beautiful being with your friends. We didn't know anything about the insurance business. So we kind of learned from each other because, Noelle was just on the phone with an underwriter. Oh, hey, Alex, this is what I learned about this product. Oh, really? Feed me, Noelle. We just learned it all together, and it was just a lot of fun. And Noelle and Mike have a smoking business, and they're in my group, so I'll part about that. And the other thing, Mike and Noelle are probably one of the best at teaching the mentality of how to get started as a new agent. Like one of the best. They got a CD on it. And so we've been blessed that Noelle decided to come 2 hours from Louisville, Kentucky. I know she's partying it up for the Derby this last weekend.
Yeah.
In her hat. Walking around. And but she's here, and so we're excited to have her. So I just want to use her up. I want to just squeeze all the knowledge out of her head and then shake it on all you guys on how to get started as a new person quickly, right? So let's bring up Noelle Leventovich.
Oh, man. Well, before I start, though, I just want to say, thank you to Alex and Jenny Abuyuan. I mean, they, no kidding, changed my life for the better. And hopefully, who knows how many lives. Some people might question that, but but I worked with Alex. I don't know if some of you know, but I worked with him in the recruiting business, and I was desperately searching for something. Like, I was very empty on the inside, like I hated the recruiting business, to be honest with you, making cold calls, 200 cold calls a day. But I was searching for some like meaning, and I didn't go to work. I don't think I went to work at the recruiting business, Alex, and said, hey, I hate it here or anything like that. I think I just went there and I was happily just doing my job with a smile on my face. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah, I remember that too.
But on the inside, I was like desperately seeking something. And Mike, my husband, didn't even know the depths of the emptiness that I was feeling. And I talk about this when I'm doing the Hotspot some, but what I found when Alex, all he did was he asked me if I wanted to make some money. And I said, yes, I do. And then he got me, he's very smart. I don't think he knew too much about what we were doing. Andy probably told him some things, but he was very smart because he got me to the person that could teach me, which is Andy Albright, instead of having to be that person. So everything I've learned from Alex in terms of keeping it simple and just, step by step in a simple basics kind of manner, how to get started fast, how to move fast. But I just want to say thank you because I don't say it enough. I just wanted to make some money, but to be honest with you, what I saw was a couple, Alex and Jenny Abian, that I knew I needed to follow somebody that was bigger than me, that I could trust, and I knew wouldn't steer me wrong. And it didn't matter if it was insurance or something else. I was just like, those are the people that are going to show me, And so I just trusted and believed. And it came true to like 100 times more than I thought it would be, or thousands more, actually millions more than I thought it would over the last 17 years. Okay, but anyway, I just want to say thank you. And Jenny's sitting in the audience too tonight. So yes, totally getting started fast and keeping it simple. So Gina went over the steps. These are the steps we do. Is this the third one? Products?
Yeah.
Number 3 would be products. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. That we teach our team too. It's the same thing, right? So this is assuming they've already got their license, LLC, list, license convention. This is assuming someone's already got their license and they're ready to go. So the first step, appointment setting. So when I started, we got a cassette tape and popped it in there and just listened to a guy that was setting appointments. And I just listened to it over and over again. Now this was back 15 years ago or whatever when I started. But recently I went back out in the field and I said, well, how would a new, and I felt like I was a new person. I still do, you know what I mean? I was like, how would a new person, go about this? Like, what would they be feeling? I promise you I'm feeling the same way because I'm getting used to everything. So I was like, okay, appointment setting is the first step. If you don't have an appointment, there's no sense in getting your ATM together because you don't need it unless you have an appointment, first of all. And there's no sense in learning a product, like Gina was saying, if you don't have an appointment set. If you have an appointment set, I promise you're going to want to get those other things together. And we're going to work with you to do that. But the main thing is to set the appointments. So when I got started back in the field, I was like, okay, what do I got to do? I got to get some appointments. Okay, so I got to listen to something, right? And so again, Gina said, Alliance University 124 is the appointment setting video. Watch that. Okay, a lot of great scripts out there. All of them work. All of them are awesome. How do I know? The people that are teaching on all of them are making $250,000 or more in this business. So I know they all work. So I was like, what can I just want to pick one, just one. I can only learn one thing at a time, right? So I was like, I'm just going to pick one. Now, the one I picked was Paul Menachino's script. Now, if they're teaching you to do something else, that's fine. Get with your coach and they'll teach you that one. But that's the one I picked. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the MP3 of Paul Menachino setting appointments over and over and over again. And I listened to it maybe 10 times. But while I was listening to it, I wrote it down. Rewind it. No, that's the cassette tape rewind. Push that thing back. And then I wrote it down, and then I listened and I wrote it down, and I wrote it down by my handwriting it down. I did that for me because my brain can, I wanted to learn it, but what did it do for me? I learned it, but I also listened to the way he was saying it and the tonality and his voice and, how he was saying it, rather than listening it to at one time and then printing out. Yes, you can print out the script, okay? You can print it out if you want to, but it's a very short script. I mean, it doesn't take you long to just write it down, but you get more. I think I get more when I write it down and actually see it, write it, listen, all the things, okay? So that's what I did. So that's what we teach our people, one script, they all work. The problem comes in is when you try to mesh them all together and take one piece from this one and mold it over into this one, and you got Eric Belairs and you got Jason Carey's and Paul Menikinos, and all of a sudden it just sounds like like confusing, right? So whatever it is, just pick one and stick with that one. ATM. So I remember when Alex first started me in this business, we had something similar to the ATM. It was called the ATN. ATN, the Alliance Training Napkin. Because we were sitting at a Bob Evans, and he said, "Okay, it's appointment time." It's a true story. He wrote it on a napkin. It's appointment time. We got to know what to do when we get to the appointment. So number one was, knock on the door, right? And number two was smile. And number three was go in. And that was the Alliance Training Napkin. Today, we have the ATM, the Alliance Training Manual. So again, Gina did a good job. It's the, 123, the Alliance Training Manual. You can download it, you can have it, you can print the About Me, customize your About Me pages, shoot them off to your manager or the person that's guiding you and leading you. Say, this is what they look like. Sometimes people need help with that. Sometimes, the wording, we might change a few things or whatever. But just email them to your manager, they'll help you, and then you'll have your ATM set up and you'll be ready to go. I promise you, this part to me is like the easiest part. Because like Gina was saying, when you're in the home, you have help, okay? If you use the help when you're in the home, you have the help. If you decide to use that help. If you decide not to use that help, you are not going to have the help. So when you're in the home, use the help if you want to have the help. Does that all make sense? Made sense to me. Perfect. So, and then the third thing was 2 products, like Gina said, and I'm not even going to go over the products at all. Just learn a couple products. You just need to know the basics. That's it. You don't have to spend a lot of time on them. I promise you. So that's the 3 steps before we get somebody leads in their hands and rolling. So the 4 W's, we go over the 4 W's. So let me erase this part. Can I write on this side?
Yep.
For people see. 4 W's. Okay. So what are the 4 W's? Well, when somebody's gone through these and they're ready to start setting appointments, we need to know a few things to help them out to get them started. And very simple things. Gina talked a little bit about this on your schedule, figuring out your schedule. For the first thing you need to know is when am I going to dial? When am I going to dial? When am I going to make phone calls? You need to have a plan in your schedule for when you can make phone calls. Anytime, what's the best time to make a phone call? When you decide to make it.
Yeah.
But there are certain times that are better than others to reach people, because the most difficult part is reaching the other person on the other end of the line, right? So the key, though, is in your calendar is having designated time slots for when you can make phone calls without being interrupted during that time. And I have some agents that say, I want to do it all. I have all day Monday. And I'm like, no, you don't. I promise you do not have all day Monday. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get to Monday evening. You're going to start in the morning with good intentions, and then in the evening you're not going to have made any dials yet, right? So the key is to have 2 or 3 hour blocks, okay? One in the morning, one in maybe the afternoon, and then one again in the evening or something like that. If you're dialing during a weekday. Weekends, 8 to noon is a very good time to reach people on a Saturday. And then Sundays are great days too. But the point is, I'm not gonna go into that as much, but the point is, when are you going to dial, okay? And we need to know that to help you plan your calendar. Understand that most people don't use a calendar. Most people don't use a schedule. They don't. So that's when we're working with a new person, getting them started, we try to get them thinking that way, okay? Number 2 is, when are you gonna run appointments? When run appointments, okay? We need to know that too. Because if you're gonna make phone calls, you need to have time set in your calendar to actually run those appointments. And usually, typically we say within 24 to 48 hours of the phone call, run your appointments. Why? Because remember the other thing I said, where most people don't use a calendar, most people don't schedule stuff like that, they don't plan. If you set it too far out, they're gonna forget, or some other thing is gonna come in the way, it's gonna block you from your appointment, okay? Something's gonna come into their calendar to block you. So the closer you set it to the phone call, the more likely they're gonna remember it and tell their spouse that you're coming over, okay? So when are you gonna run appointments? We say to have, typically, we when we're talking to a new agent, we say to have a 3-day blitz. That's what we call it. It's like one day where you're making your phone calls, okay, to schedule your 2 other days of full appointments. Now, if you're part-time, you just half all those numbers. You gotta work around your job, okay? Number 3 is, what counties can you work in? Or where are you gonna go? We need to know what counties or what areas you can work in, because we need to get some leads into your hands, most people, okay? So we need to know what areas. So when I'm talking with a new person, I'll say, okay, what counties can you run in? If you give me more counties, it gives you more options. We're gonna try and keep you in, we don't want you running here and there, but we're gonna try and find leads where you can run 15 to 20 appointments all in the same general area, so you're not running all over the place, right? But if you give more county availability, the more options there are for leads, okay? And then the 4th W is, what is your lead budget? Or investment. Your lead investment is really what it is, okay? What's your lead investment? Okay, so I get some people that say, well, I have $300 lead budget. I have some people that say I have 0. I have some that say $50. I have some that say $100. It doesn't really matter to me what it is, but what I need to know is, with that new person, what they're thinking. Because some people come into this business expecting to spend $1,000 a week on leads or whatever,
Yeah.
okay? And some people don't really have anything right now that they can invest in leads. Either way is fine with me. I don't care. I'm gonna get some leads in their hands and get them rolling. But I wanna know what their lead budget is, or lead investment is, so that I can plan for that when I'm getting them leads. And I'll tell them that. I don't care if it's 0, I don't care if it's 350, it just depends on your situation. Now, the more you have to invest, if you can invest something, then the more opportunities you have, because I can get more clients into your hand right now that you can call right now, okay? But if it's 0, it's 0. If they say it's 0, or if it's a low number, say 25 or $30 or something like that, I say that's awesome. That's great. Good job. Some people don't invest at all right away, so great job on that. And I'll say, let me ask you a question. It's Will, right? Let me ask you a question, Will. Have you talked to anybody about what you're doing, that you got your insurance license? Is there anybody in your family you talked to about it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you may have somebody in your family already, or somebody that you know. Has anyone ever asked you, or talked to you about getting some insurance once you get your license? Yeah. So sometimes an agent will say, yeah, I have had people that have asked me. Great. So those are some people that you can add in and set some appointments with those people into your lead plan right now as you're getting started. So those are great leads already that you already know for people. It's not a requirement, but man, if you're telling somebody you have your life insurance license, a lot of the time somebody will say, hey, you know what, I know I need some of that, or I know somebody that needs some of that, if you're just talking about it, okay? So that's what's your lead investment. So we go over these things with the new agent, and then we talk about all these things, and then we set up a plan for when they can start running appointments, when they can start dialing first, when they can start running appointments, and what the counties are, and what their lead investment is, and when they'll get some leads. And that's when we get them into their hands. Now, let's say I'm working with you, Will. Okay, Will, tomorrow you got time set from 7:30 in the morning till 10:30 in the morning, is that right? That's the plan? Okay, so start making phone calls? Okay, awesome. We're gonna get some leads to you. But here's a couple things as you go through. First of all, when you start dialing, okay, just get focused, okay? Make sure there's nothing, in your way or whatever. Just be focused on getting on the phones. Hop right on it, just like jumping in a pool. The best way is just hop right in, You ever hear somebody say that, jump in the pool, the water's warm, and you stick your toe in and it's freaking freezing in there?
Yeah.
But if you jump right in, maybe it's cool when you jump right in, but you pop back up and guess what? The water's warmer, right?
Yeah.
Same thing here, okay? So jump right, I'll give them that analogy. Jump right in, don't worry about it. Here's the thing, this is training, this is a learning for you. If you connect with 3 people and you don't make an appointment, I want you to stop and give me a call. Stop and give me a call. And what we'll do is we'll just talk about what's going on and get you back out there, okay? Why do we do that with them? Because anybody ever watch like basketball or something like that where the other team's like running up the score and they keep scoring points, and then the coach the team that's not scoring calls a timeout?
Mm-hmm.
Why does he do that? Why do they call a timeout?
Get them focused again.
Get them focused again, exactly. Give them a little coaching, but more than anything, giving them attaboy, don't worry about it, get right back in there, we got them, and get back in there, right? Same thing here. You want the positive momentum, okay? If they get 3 connects and don't set an appointment, we gotta stop, get a little coaching, get back in there, attaboy, pat them on the butt, proud of you, and get them back on the phone. And keep doing that through your dial session. Every time you get 3, don't set, call me. When you get one that's set, let me know. I want to give you a high five. I promise you, if you do that, you're more than likely you're going to be setting some appointments if you do it that way. And I'll tell them that. More than likely you'll be setting some appointments if you do it that way. If you take your time and dip your toe in and wander around and do some other things for the first 2 hours of your dial session, I can't promise you that you're going to set some appointments.
That's
right. Okay, so let's just jump right in. What do you say?
Yeah.
I get them to say, yeah. I get them at least acknowledge that. Okay. So that's how we get somebody kind of acclimated and into the dialing and stuff like that. And then when they do have their appointments set, oh my gosh, it's like hallelujah breakdown.
Yep.
Way to go, you got on even if they didn't set any appointments. Way to go, you got on the phone. That's awesome. High five. Good job. Can you hear me? I'm excited because you know what? Most people don't do that. You went way above what 90% of the people do in the insurance industry, which is get on the phone and make phone calls. I'm proud of you for that. Now, if they do set some appointments during that, it's a high five, way to go. Good job. You set some appointments. You got on the phone. Nice job. And then, okay, let's prep for your appointment. Okay, so you dial today. Today's Tuesday. You dial today. Wednesday, you got your appointment. Nice job. Let's prep you for that. And what do we prep them with? Milk crate, like Andy calls it, right? Which is what we used to use. You got your milk crate? Look, here's Alex's. Here's Alex's milk crate. Looky there. All prepped. I got all the apps. So what we do as a new person, we'll get you the initial products, okay, like we said, okay, and you want to have those apps in your bag. But you also want to have 1 or 2 of the other apps if you can, and you can print them out and then initially, and then the insurance companies will mail you all the apps and all that, okay? But you want to have, just in case you need it, some of the other apps if you can. But most important apps you definitely want to have, and the forms that go with them.
And Forrester's
Okay.
was great. I gave them a phone call and they sent me this huge box of stuff.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
You call them up.
I got it a couple days after. And when I first called, it was my first time calling an insurance company. So I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm with NAA. I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And he goes, well, I'm just sending you some of everything.
There you go. Just send them everything.
3 days later, I had this humongous box of stuff that I swear weighs as much as I do. And it was literally everything that I need.
How much did they charge you?
Nothing.
Nothing. They get
Send it
everything
to
for
me.
free.
Yeah.
And they were super nice. It was incredible.
They're great. They want you to sell their products. They're happy to give you applications for that.
If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. It's like, this is the best phone call I've ever had.
It's so easy. It is. So, and they send them to you pretty quick.
Oh, it was a couple days after
Couple days.
after I made the phone call.
But you don't need to wait once you set an appointment to get an application. You can download these from our website. You can have access and you can print them out or whatever and have some apps before you do all that. So don't wait for them to send them. Go ahead and get them. Get the tools you need. So we prep them for their appointment, get them basics, you know. And Gina mentioned it a few times. I'm going to reiterate it again is, okay, Will, you ready to go out on your appointments? High five. We got all the apps in your hands. Great. There's some phone numbers I want to get to you. These people. And I give them like 4 or 5 people's numbers. By the way, here's mine. That one's
I was about to ask you
Gina's.
for that.
Here's Gina's. Here's mine. Actually, this is Mike's, but no, I'm kidding. That's mine. So we'll give them 3 or 4, well, we probably give 4 or 5 different phone numbers. If you call me first, call Mike, call this person person while you're in the home. Because that's where you're gonna get, that's where you're gonna need, you know, to call out, you know, for help. And make sure you do. I always tell them, make sure you call. Even if you think you got this, you're closing the deal, make sure you call anyway. Because there may be something you're forgetting or whatever, okay? It's so easy to call from home. Gina said it. They love it. The clients love it.
Yeah.
You're not the only person there. They actually hear somebody else that you're talking to somebody else on the other phone. It shows credibility, not lack of credibility. It shows credibility when you call from the home. And then I just tell them, like Gina said, usually I'll do it, and I do this, and I've been doing this. Believe me, Joe Dukes and, you know, Mike and Junior, I've been calling all those guys 15 times while I'm in an appointment. But on that financial page on the ATM, the one where it gets all your finances, you ask all the questions, you know the one I'm talking about?
Mhm.
It's right here, right?
Financial picture.
Huh?
The financial picture.
The financial picture? Yeah. I get all those things and I say, okay, just like Gina said, I say, okay, Will, I tell you what, I think I got an idea. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna call out to my office, call out to my product specialist and make sure I got the best product and the best pricing for you, okay? And then they don't care. They're like, okay, sure. And so you just pick up the phone and the other person on the end of the line will ask you questions and guide you along. Never, okay, please do not put yourself on speakerphone while you're sitting with the client and you call out from the home.
Yes.
Don't start that way, okay? Keep it on just you, okay? Why? Because the other person on the other line can't ask as direct a questions if the client's hearing them. They can't get an idea of what's going on if you kind of just throw it out there at them, okay? So keep it on you. If the person on the other end says, well, just put me on speaker. Mike did this with somebody today. Just go ahead and put me on speaker. And so Mike talked to the client, okay? But don't start that way. Got it? Okay? All right, cool. It helps everybody. And they'll walk you through. Hey, I think CFG will work. Safe Shield, great. Got everything. If you need a quote, whatever, they'll give you a quote on if you don't have the stuff downloaded or loaded on your phone or whatever. And then you just start filling out the paperwork and so forth. Now, one thing that I do in teaching agents is at the end of the appointment, let's say you're helping the client or you're not helping the client. It doesn't matter. Again, call from the home, call out, okay? Let's say you got everything wrapped up, You got the application, they gave you the banking information, you got them their policy, they're fired up, excited. Everything looked good, you feel good about what we did today? Yes, awesome. Okay, so what I need to do now is I just need to call out to my office, make sure there's nothing that I'm forgetting, and to let them know I'm on to my next appointment. That's what I say. Okay, and then when I get on the phone, usually there's something I forgot. Like I say, oh, I'm sitting here with Will and we got him covered, he's protected and everything. We did the forester's application, everything looks good. And they'll say, okay, did you remember the questionnaire for the diabetes or whatever it is? And I'm like, most of the time I'm like, oh, okay, why don't you go ahead and do that, okay? And they'll give you a couple other things. Did you remember to ask for referrals? Shoot, I forgot that part. I was so excited about filling out the app. I forgot to get to the ERS, right? So they'll give you things, even though you've completed the app, that's good. There may be things you've forgotten, okay? So just call out from the home again. Let's say you're sitting with a client and you're not able to help that client. Maybe they've got a policy that works for them and it's a good policy. There are some of those out there. I was sitting with a lady and she got a policy like 20 years ago. We called the insurance company, it was still in force, everything. Her health had changed. And it was a whole life policy. There was not anything that we were gonna get that was gonna work for her in her situation. But I called from the home and I said, you know, I'm sitting here with Betty and, you know, it looks like she's got this policy. We called the insurance company, it's still in effect. It looks like you don't need anything, Betty. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna call out to my office, make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting, and let them know I'm on to my next appointment, okay? Sure. One lady even said, you gotta check in, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I gotta check in. so I called out. Turns out the person on the other end of the phone had said, well, is there anyone else, any other family members in the house? Yes, there was a grandchild in the house. So I ended up getting a referral for the mom of the grandchild in the house that was running around. So her daughter. Okay, so I have an appointment with her daughter. I haven't met with them yet, but I have an appointment with them this week, Thursday. So my point is there's always probably stuff that you're forgetting. Not always, but it also gets you in the habit of calling from the home, which is the main thing we're trying to do here.
That's right.
You never know. And I had an agent that she was setting all the appointments, all the people, like her sit ratio was so high, and like almost everybody that she set was there when she got there, but her closing ratio was low. And I said, well, why don't you do this? Are you calling from the home on appointment? Yes, I am. I'm calling at the product, questions. I'm like, that's good, good. Are you calling before you leave the home? No, she wasn't calling when she left the home. I'm like, just try it. Just try it. And she's been with us for like a year and a half. Actually, she earned a trip to Barcelona coming up. Yeah. And I said, just try it. Just call from every appointment this week. And she did. And I said, well, did it help at all? She called out, and on one appointment, she was able, that she didn't think she was going to help, she ended up writing an application because a person on the other line directed her in a way
Wow.
that helped her write
Oh,
one
that's
more
cool.
policy that she
Yep.
thought she wasn't going to write that week. So it works, okay? So those are the keys. Anything I'm leaving out or?
Man, that's awesome. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
All right,
perfect.
cool. Awesome.
Go on, Love and Toby! Oh man, getting some good stuff. I'm like, wow. Cool. So y'all got this?
Mhm.
Okay. I hope they got this in YouTube land. They can actually back it up and write it down. Isn't that cool?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's like having a
Rewind.
DVR for training. We just go backwards. All right, so the kind of the third leg of the stool is the building side. So make no mistake, when we got into this business, we got into business from the Amway business. So we knew about building a business because we wanted to be free from a job. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I got in this thing was I need to get free. I just couldn't see myself going in to the same place, going 8 to 5, 8 to 6, 8 to 7 for the next 40 years, right? And then hopefully retire or work at Walmart as a greeter. I mean, just that was not in my game plan. That was not in my DNA. I mean, I'd rather like commit harikari, or something like this. I'd rather do that, Ah, gosh. I keep thinking, well, I had a dream. I had a dream for something better. I mean, that's why y'all are in here, because you want something better, right?
That's right.
I mean, that's why people are watching this, is because they want something better in their lives. Well, I want something better too. Now, I love selling insurance. I love going and helping families. But, and I think it's a worthy and noble profession. But at the same time, I didn't want to have to be all my income dependent on me, on whether I was having a good week or a bad week, right? I mean, I knew when I got in, I'd have good weeks and bad weeks. Ask anybody out there that's been selling for any amount of time, they'd have a good week and bad week. Unfortunately, the bad weeks you don't get paid,
Right.
or we get paid little. And it's like, how can I not have all my income totally dependent on me? Like, what if I got sick and couldn't work? What if my back went out and I had to stay on the floor on my back to get it back, and it took me 4 days, 5 days a week to get, I lost a week of income. See, that's one thing about this business, is that you can make money and lose money, but when you lose time, you lose time forever.
Yeah.
You can never rewind and relive that week when you're well. You have to get well and then make up maybe for the time you lost by doing double, triple the amount of time. But I knew I just couldn't do that. So I'm in a 100% commission business. Okay, so that's like ding, ding, ding. You make it, you take it. You don't make it, you don't take it. In other words, it's all on you, it's all on me. And so the one thing about building a business and building a team was I knew that if I had a bunch of people that were going out there like me, dialing the phone, going out on appointments, and selling, that I would earn override income. See, it was very simple for me. I'd earn override income on people that were having good weeks and bad weeks just like me. And the beautiful thing about this is, statistically, what happens is about half the people will turn in business this week, and then half the people will turn in business next week. And so what happens is, if you got about 12 agents turning in business every week, at the end of the month you have about 24 unique writing agents. It's just how it works. Half the people that write at least one policy in a month, half those people write business every week. So statistically it works. It was like, oh wow, I get this. You mean if I earn an override percentage on an agency and half of them turn business every week, guess what? I know that I'm making money on overrides every dadgum week. Because that's what's crazy, is not everyone has a bad week at the same time. And conversely, not everyone has a good week at the same time. But I know each individual person will have a good week and have a bad week and have an average week. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, how crazy is it to not have to mitigate the risk of all that being done on me? So if you're brand new, I hear this all the time for brand new people. Well, I'll wait to see if it works before I show it to my closest friends or my warm list of people that I know. I'll wait until see if I go, seriously? Okay, do you know that we do almost 100 million a year, right? You know that someone's doing something. You know that we mail out about 1 million leads a week. right? And then those leads come in and agents make sales on those leads. You know that we have a leaderboard of people that turn in 30, 40,000 of production a month. So let me ask you a question, Joe. Why do your people have to wait on you to be successful before they are allowed the opportunity to change their financial lives, just like you are changing yours? Why do they have to wait on you? Can we just cut to the chase and really pull that out as an excuse? You're not waiting to see if the business works. You're waiting to see if the business works for you, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I don't want to get my people into something that just doesn't work. Okay, let's go back again from what I said the first time. We have a leaderboard of people turning in 40,000, 30,000, all these people, and I promise you they're doing it on our lead program, okay? Is it okay for your people to see them as successful so that they have a shot just like you did? Because thank God I didn't wait until Noelle Leventovich saw me become successful. I got her in right away, only to find out that a month later, one of the people that was in her wedding had gotten into the same business, the same agency we were in. And he found out Noelle was in the business. She did about 10,000 submitted her first month in the business in January 2000. And he saw her name on the leaderboard, just like her last name. And he called Mike and said, hey, do you have a relative in the insurance business? And Mike goes, why do you ask? Well, I'm part of this agency that has life insurance, and it says someone with Leventovich on there. I thought, how many Leventoviches are there in the United States? And he goes, well, yeah, that's Noelle. And he's silent. Oh my gosh, you guys are in the same agency as I'm in. Yeah? When did you get in? Last July? And this is what? This is January 2000, so it would have been half a year, 6 months. And he goes, who'd you get in with? Alex Abuyuan, because he knew me from the Amway business. He was their upline in the Amway business. I met him at their wedding. Crazy.
Yeah.
And so Noelle and Mike get in with me and Jenny, and not with him, John Miller. I'll say his name. Thank you, John Miller, for letting us have Mike and Noelle Leventovich. Because we've made about $4 or $5 million on that group in the last 17 years. Is that crazy? Actually, it's more 5 something. And the longer we're in the business, the worse that mistake he made.
Yeah.
It just keeps, there'll be a point where it's he's lost $20 million. He'll have lost $30 million because he didn't share the opportunity with Mike and Noelle, and Mike and Noelle were looking. Noelle was empty. He could have been the one to change her life, but he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I don't know, because he felt some sense of having to be successful. What a mistake that was. Thank you, Lord. I'm grateful. Oh my gosh, I keep thinking.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
It is.
Well, I'm telling that story
He
because
was
it's
in our
true.
wedding.
Huh?
He was in our wedding. He was really good friends. We traveled with them. We went on vacations with them, and
That's crazy.
all
That's
kinds of
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, and then what a secret to hide from your best friends.
Yeah.
The way I looked at it, man, I showed it to as many people as I could because, look, here's one thing I knew about me. I am smart opportunist. Because what if I sucked at selling it this thing? What if I wasn't that good? I knew for sure that if I brought people in that were better than me, I was at least getting an override on these people, even if I couldn't sell. I mean, they had all kinds of examples of successful people selling. So, so the whole excuse about why don't you put a list of people together is just, it cracks me up that people even have those excuses. It's why Are you the arbiter of other people's success? Do you know that when Andy called me, this was an answer to a prayer? I was on my knees praying to God, please help me. 2 weeks later, Andy calls me. I'm thinking, this is the answer. Like, how many people on your list of names are praying also for an opportunity? If you go throughout all of NAA and you talk to people, so many people were praying for an opportunity to come their way, and all of a sudden, boom, they got a call, right? They got it. They were looking on Craigslist. So many people have been affected, right, by people that have a dream. I needed to be successful with other people. I couldn't do it myself. So I realized, hey man, what do I have to lose? See, that's one thing about people. People sometimes, they don't turn over lists of names because they're worried about what their friends are going to think of them.
Yep.
Oh, he's doing insurance. And I'm going, seriously, you're worried about what people think of you? Okay, the people that you're worried about, are they going to pay your bills? If you cannot pay your mortgage, are they going to pay your mortgage? Because if they're not going to pay your mortgage or your bills, if you can't pay, then why the heck do you even care what they think about you? Does that make sense? Oh, man. It's funny, too. I keep thinking about the thing about when people say they're going to wait till they're successful, or, it's like when you applied for a job, did you call your friends first to see if it was okay to apply for that job? You didn't, did you? You wanted an opportunity, so you applied for the job, and you didn't check with your friends if it was okay. But that's like what you're doing when you're holding back your list of names, is you're afraid about what your friends are going to think about you. It just doesn't make sense, does it? I'm thinking like, man, I got opportunity. I want to share it with the people that I love and care about. And it's no different than asking them if they like ketchup on their hot dog, right? Do you like ketchup on your hot dog?
I suppose, yeah.
Do you like ketchup on your hot dog? No. Do you like ketchup on your hot dog?
Yes.
Okay. I did not take that personally when you said no. My whole self-image did not rise or fall on you not liking ketchup on your hot dog. Okay? That's all this thing is.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do is I would take advantage of just people, how many people that I know that are looking? How many people are looking? I don't know until I ask them, right? And so that's all we're saying is there are people on your list that we're praying. Let's just find out who's answered, who's going to allow us to be the answer to their prayer, right? Who's going to allow us to answer their prayer? And so, man, when you ask any top producer in the company that has started recruiting, like bar none, if you ask anybody that says, what would you have done different when you got started? Every single person would say, I should have started building my agency sooner. Everyone. So what I'm saying is that you have a chance now to take the advice of someone who is a top producer making multiple six figures, and they're saying they should have started recruiting sooner. Man, I started recruiting from day one, from Jump Street. In 17 years, I've got a large organization of people because I didn't wait. I started right away. If I had waited, I wouldn't probably have found Noel and Mike and Patrick. They might have gone in with someone else. It's like, don't wait. Now, the whole thing, so, okay, hopefully we got you figuring out that your list of names of people that you know is your chance to start your business going, right? To get your business going as a new person. So like the whole theme of this is how to get out the gate quick. This is how you get out the gate quick also, because the question is, do you want to make money sooner or later? And everyone said sooner. Everyone always says sooner. Well, how about, like, if your goal is to make $2,000 a week, wouldn't it be cool if you were making $1,000 on personal production and $1,000 in overrides. Like, what if half of your income was coming? And then, so that's a 6-figure income. And then you're doing 1,000 personal production. What happens to your overrides is you can double that like that. Faster than you can double your personal production, in my opinion. I mean, you certainly can write more business, but there's a certain point where the most you can do, let's say the most you can do is 40,000 of personal production in a month. But that's the most you can do because there's, as far as I know, Bill Cook and Minerva Profil are the consistent people that are able to do 40,000 a month. But can Minerva do 80,000 in a month? I've not seen anyone do more than 40,000. I've seen someone hit 50,000 once or twice in my career. I'm talking 17 years. Okay? That the game is not how much can you do. Can you do 100,000 in a month? Maybe you can, but I don't know that I'd want to see you try. Okay? The limit is always your time, isn't it? You can't but do so much of your personal production. So would it be cool if you were able to do, let's say, 25,000 and you were overriding 100,000 in a base shop? See, this can go to 100 to 200 to 300 to 400,000. Like Mike and Noel's hierarchy does consistently over 400,000 a month issue paid. Is that awesome? Patrick is just getting over 300,000. Our hierarchy does about 800,000 a month of issue paid. Right? Well, it better be big after 17 years, So, thank God I showed it to them right away. So there's your list. So, okay. So we have this thing called MC Backup. So if you want to get started right away, you want to download MC Backup if you have an iPhone, or Contacts to Excel if you have an Android phone, and dump everything in your phone into a spreadsheet, okay? Out of that spreadsheet, okay, so you're going to Contacts to Excel, okay? And then get it, so this is step 1, download your contacts. Number 2, get it to your upline. Right, and let's talk about who we can approach first, all right? So what I like to do is like to know your top 25. Who are your top 25 people? Now, what do I mean the top 25? We're talking people at your self-image or above. So if you've got a self-image of a 9, I want to see your 9s and 10s. I want to know who your top 25 9s and 10s are. Okay, people at your ambition level and above. Okay? We call it the chicken list, the people that you're afraid of calling them about an opportunity because they're so sharp. Does that make sense? So I'm looking at their top 25. Give me the top 25. Now, typically you're probably scared to call them. Let us call them for you. I am going to dedicate my time away from my family to help you build your business right away. And you only have my time when you get started, but like this long. If you don't take advantage of it, then I might be helping someone else new. So isn't it cool to have someone with credibility give your people a call that can answer all their questions? And this is the approach. Okay, it's real simple. Hello, Joe. This is Alex. My name doesn't sound familiar, but you're a friend of Steve's, right? Steve Smith. You know Steve? Yeah, I know Steve. Great. Hey, listen, I was talking to Steve about some people out there in Louisville, Kentucky. He mentioned your name to me. Listen, Steve and I need some help, right? We need some help. We're doing a project with Mutual of Omaha with a friend of mine down in Raleigh, North Carolina, or in Burlington, North Carolina, owns a multi-million-dollar company. We need some help. Hey, are you open right now? Are you open? So those are the 4 things, right? Life insurance, North Carolina. Life insurance, North Carolina, we need help. What am I missing? Leads, okay. Leads. And we got people that are sending in these mailers saying that they want someone to sit down with them. We need some help taking care of those people. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to mention those things. Hey, listen, we need some help. Do you think you can help us out? Do you know someone else that can help us out? That's it. They can say yes, no, maybe so. There's only 3 responses. Yes, sounds good to me. No, my plate's full. Or, well, sounds interesting. Tell me more about it. Now, wouldn't you rather have me telling them more about it than you on your top 25? Right? I will go to work for you. I will get your agency blown up. Make sense? This is simple. MC backup. Get the list to me as your upline. Let's go over your top 25 people without prejudging them. Don't hold anybody back. You know, maybe you don't want to give us your boss to call because your boss, just you got to be sensitive about that. But, and then we'll call them for you. And then, so the top 25, the next 25, the next 25, we are going to get you wide slam open. We're going to get your business going. And you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know anything. Is that cool? Because we're going to train them. We're going to get them going. It's while you know nothing that we're going to go to work for you. You don't have to train them. We're going to train them for you. What a great opportunity is that. We're going to give you free labor to help get your agency going. So who wouldn't want to jump on top of that, right? Because you're going to find another Mike and Noah Levitovich on your list. Or they might know, one of these people might know another Mike and Noah Levitovich, another Patrick and Suzanne Connors, right? I did a video on Andy's direct agency managers. He's got 10 direct agency manager legs and above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And all but one came from Warm Market. All of them but one. The one was Stephen Davies off an ad. All the other ones came through Warm Market contacts. So if it's good enough for Andy Albright, I think it's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good enough for me. Right. Crazy, isn't it?
I won't lie. I was terrified to turn my list in. I really was, because I've got some of those friends that are like, don't give anybody my name and number. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to discount anybody. I'm not going to keep anyone from this opportunity. And I handed my list in. And I was nervous for a good 2 days. But then you realize that there's a system, and the system works.
Absolutely.
And with Corey, like, even my friends that were like that and didn't want their number to go out, I know that now that Corey's called them and told them what we're doing, now I see that they're watching what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not be interested now. Give it a couple months. Wait for them to see, all the things you're doing and all the people that you're helping. And I'm starting to get people's attention now.
Yeah.
Even
You're planting a seed.
Yeah, even before I got to Instant Thunder, I started recruiting. As soon as we made that decision to start NAA, I started recruiting.
There you go.
And it was in my warm market, and these people already trusted me. They already trusted that I make good decisions. Even the ones
That's
that didn't
why it
know
works.
me. Yeah, one of my first recruits. We hadn't known each other very long. We worked at a hospital together, but she trusted me.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, is we already had that trust built up, so she was ready to dive with me. And it was just crazy to think if I had waited until I was successful, I might not have gotten her.
Yeah.
If I waited till I was successful to turn in my list, I might not have gotten Corey to go through and call all of these people for me. And now, even if they said no, I know they're watching.
Absolutely.
And it's perfect.
The thing about a list is all we're trying to do is cross names off. Cross names off. Ooh, that one's interested. We're just crossing names off. People are interested now, and then people that might be interested later.
Mm-hmm.
So no pressure at all.
And they don't get hounded. Like with
No.
some other multi-level marketing companies, if someone gives someone your number, you're going to get hounded with phone calls. But it's nice because one of my friends, like a couple of my friends texted me, like, hey, I just got this phone call from somebody that said your name. What is this? And it's like, oh, and I kind of, give them the gist of it. It's like, you should still talk to them. It's like, but if you decide you're not interested, that's it. They're not going to blow up your phone. They're not going to, show up at your house. They're going to explain to you what we are, what we do, and how we can help other people. And then if you're not interested, cool, no hard feelings. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll send you a postcard from Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about, people, like, it sounds like multi-level. It ain't no multi-level. It's multi-level pay system, but ain't no multi-level marketing.
No.
Because we're not needing to hire people to get to their warm market to sell life insurance, right? We need help. We need help selling. Our lead operation only does 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. We could go round the clock. We don't got enough agents. So is that just a line that we need help? No,
No, we
really,
need help.
like we really need help to run these leads, So look, it's not for everybody, but it is for somebody. And those somebodies might be on your warm market list of names. Might as well help them before I get to them.
You might have a Noel on your list.
Yeah, because I might hire them, and you'll see your best friend on my leaderboard,
Yep.
and I'm overriding them, and not you, because we're gonna find them. All right, man. Any questions? All right, good stuff. Great job, gang. Rock on. Let's kill it.